In this lesson, we'll cover electrical components, specifically lighting fixtures. So our lighting fixtures can be placed by the architect and or the mechanical engineer using MEP, depending upon what you want to do. If we want to create circuitry or routing schemes, we'll use lighting fixtures from within MEP. And we'll use this as an example here. The layout we're looking at is a ceiling plan of the third floor. And we want to place ceiling lights inside of our ceiling or ceiling tile grid. I'm going to zoom in to the upper left corner or north corner of the actual building. And I can see I have various symbols inside of my ceiling grid. Ceiling grid is represented by a grid. And I mouse over symbols, I see I have air terminals, diffusers, with the arrows indicating whether it's a supply or a return terminal. And you also have lights or lighting fixtures. Those are indicated with no actual symbols or arrows. Mouse over one of those, for example. So let's say we wanted to place additional lighting fixtures, just like this one here, this recessed lighting fixture, into our ceiling grid. Well, the first thing you have to determine is what type of lighting element are you placing? One that goes on the ceiling, or one that's wall mounted, or one that hangs from another plane or surface. Second, we'll use the lighting fixture tool from the Systems tab to place this actual fixture within our ceiling. So the view I'm looking at again is the Level 3 ceiling plan. Now to place a lighting fixture, let's go to the Systems tab. All the way to the right in the electrical area, click Lighting Fixture. This will then display the properties of what fixtures are currently loaded into Revit. And the one that I want to use in this example will be the recessed lighting fixture 600 by 600. Go ahead and select that. Now below the lighting fixture just selected are the properties. Here I can change various values if I want to within the property set. But before I place this, I need to verify the placement. If you look at the right side of your ribbon, by default, lighting is set to be placed on the vertical face or a vertical face. For example, a wall sconce, you want to hang that on the wall. This is a light that goes in your recessed ceiling. Therefore, I don't want to place it on the wall or a vertical face. I want to place it on a face. So in this instance, I'm going to choose the second option or middle option, place on a face. This is where you can place it on a ceiling grid or a level that's marked as a ceiling or a floor. You can also choose a work plane if you're defining a plane that a ceiling element or a lighting fixture hangs from a given plane. So with place selected and with the properties set to the main recessed lighting type, I can see as I move my mouse over the model, it'll allow me to snap this to a work surface. In this case, the ceiling grid or a floor or a ceiling. So in this case, I'm going to move over the ceiling grid. I can zoom in to see the accuracy of positioning. Now by default, I can snap this into position in the lower left corner of one of my ceiling grid squares. Go ahead and left click to place it. Drag another one and go ahead and left click to place it as well. And I can continue to place these elements within the ceiling grid. Once you're done, click Modify. Selecting each element will show that it's actually bound to its host, the compound ceiling, sitting at a specific elevation. If it was bound to the floor, which technically you wouldn't want to bind a ceiling light to a floor, but if it was a floor lamp for say, you could bind it to the floor. Go ahead and click if anything is selected. So as a review, in this lesson, we looked at electrical components, specifically lighting fixtures. We talked about the necessity of having a lighting fixture hosted to something, a face. By default, when you go to insert a lighting fixture, it wants to pick a wall surface or wall face. If it's a wall sconce, that would be correct. It's connected to the wall face. However, if it's a ceiling light, whether it's a recessed light or a pendant light, it needs to be attached to a ceiling grid or a ceiling level. You can also attach lighting fixtures to floors if it was a floor lamp, for example. We then actually created a few recessed lights, snapping them into the grid, and then viewed the properties of how they're associated to the grid for the ceiling as its host.